Creovai is the leader in conversation AI and analytics. And I'm very curious, what are some of the most common misconceptions that you hear about from your customers about what AI can and cannot do?
So AI is an extremely powerful tool that will affect just about every facet of the customer and agent experience. I think where there's some misconceptions is often from the executives within the contact center that AI can do everything. Whereas actually it's great for specific user cases, and let's not try and do everything with it. And the other thing I always say is let's walk before we run. So one of the most visible user cases is obviously self-service. Businesses are increasingly using chatbots to handle queries that don't need a lot of human intervention. And I think every contact center would ideally deflect as many of those voice calls as possible because it can bring down the cost. But even though we've seen the investments in chatbots really increase, live phone calls still make up about 65% of all inbound contact center interactions. And that level has been pretty consistent even over the last few years. I literally just saw a McKinsey report a few days ago that said they still believe that over the next 2 to 5 years, that percentage will only drop off 2 to 5%. So voice calls are still here to stay, and agents supporting those is really important.
I'll say that I wonder what that statistic looks like, not in terms of the number of calls, like 65% versus whatever, but duration of calls, because I suspect that the questions that we started asking of live agents have become more challenging. I don't think that the questions we ask are the same that we asked only a few years ago.
Absolutely spot on. So we've seen self-service channels deflect all of those or as many of those straightforward queries. That leads agent to handle those more complex issues, which is actually driving up handle times. So in fact, the average call times have increased by 20-30% over the last 2 decades. So while agents are handling fewer calls, they're handling longer calls that require more critical thinking. And also when I speak to customers, if it's high urgency, high emotion, that is when they still want to speak to an agent to get that specific answer there and now. And live voice is still such an important channel because human agents are being tasked with solving customers' most complicated issues. Contact centers need to consider how they use AI to empower their agents. And that includes using AI to assist agents in real time, to mine historical data, but also more importantly, to understand customer satisfaction. Because you could be handling all these calls, but actually, if you're not doing a good job and your customers are becoming more and more frustrated, they'll leave. And the other thing I've seen is because agents are handling more complex queries, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, they would have a breather. They would handle 5 easy queries, take a breather, and then 1 complex one. Now, all of the simple queries have gone, which means they're just handling the complex queries, which means the agents are burning out, they're struggling, they're not performing a great experience to the customers, and that's when you can get churn of customers leaving your organization as well.